Moronvirus Thanks, ECETI, great new name for it. March 12, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. Please note for the math challenged among us, 100% as a whole, 200% as double a whole unit of whatever. So when the lamestream media reports that our units in Italy are 200% overwhelmed, it simply means that they have double the normal number of patients. Okay. So if they normally have 20 patients, they now have 40, the original 20 from all crisis events, plus another 20 from moronvirus and whatever else extra comes in the door. Okay, that's bad. Nobody wants to see already stressed or resources strained and doctors and nurses further put at risk. But it is hardly cause to run screaming into the bushes and spend billions with a B of dollars and threaten quarantines. It isn't cause to empty store shelves of toilet paper or anything else. This is not, repeat, not the bubonic plague. It's not the Spanish influenza. More math facts: if 3% of the people in a city of 11 million people, like Wuhan, China, die suddenly, that's a lot of people. 1% of a million is 10,000. 3% of a million is 30,000. Then times 11. What do you get? 330,000 corpses. Have there been nightmare scenarios? Have all facilities that deal with dead bodies been overwhelmed? Of course. But in the big picture of things, 3% is 3%, even if 3% yields a major league problem. Like everything else, the lamestream reports the fake news about the moronvirus is hyped up, overamped, and deeply slanted. While they were eager to report horrifying rumors coming out of China, they aren't so willing to post the good news: only 19 new virus victims in Wuhan so far this week. In a city of 11 million, that's pretty insignificant, isn't it? Especially when the press has been playing this up as the equivalent of the bubonic plague. So, what does this tell us? That the Chinese have figured out the big secret and shut down the 5G grid, imposed a quarantine to halt spread, and begun treating people with oxygen and hot baths. The virus is heat sensitive. Voila. End of problem. China is going back to work. Without a lot of fanfare, either. Of course, it wouldn't do them any good to report it, because the Western media wouldn't share with us anyway, and haven't. Heck, this is the biggest gain in lamestream ratings for 10 years. They are going to milk it for all they are worth, but in terms of truth-telling or value for your time spent watching, they are just as useless as ever. What I am advising people to do is really simple. Eat healthy, rest, stay hydrated, drink some water or tea or juice every 15 minutes, just small amounts to add up over the course of the day, and stay home as much as possible. That's the first line of defense against any communicable disease. Today's big news is that the virus is airborne. Duh. No contagion in history that spreads this fast has ever been anything but airborne. Why the fact that it is airborne is coming as a surprise to anyone is a surprise to me. This means that yes, it can spread through the air, especially in closed spaces like factories with poor ventilation, subway trains, etc. So how to protect yourself? Think. I use nature's weapons. Nature has been around a lot longer than your family doctor. Think about how germs get into your house. They come in with the mail and with the groceries, mainly, and on your clothes, and through the air you breathe. So? Set up a place to open your mail that is well ventilated and put down a plastic bag or similar surface on the table. Open the mail and toss away things you don't need to keep or take action on, into another bag. Put the mail you need to act on in a separate Ziploc bag for later. Roll up the plastic mat and dispose of it. Wash your hands. Spritz the table with germ killer. You're done for now. When it's time to pay bills, you will reverse the whole process and clean up that mess, too. Groceries, especially produce, are very common sources of infection, so, do what some of us have been doing for decades. Wash your veggies and rinse and wipe off containers entering your house. There are commercial products on the market now designed to strip away wax and pesticides and herbicides on your food, or you can make your own. I use a spritz of water mixed with a few drops of Castile soap and a couple drops of orange or lemon oil. It doesn't take much, but it helps a lot in terms of removing residues and germs, including bad strains of E. coli. Use the dishwasher, if you have one. Redouble your bathroom cleanup routine. If possible, get the lozenge-type bowl cleaners that kill germs in your toilet tank water for up to 3 months. Besides your mail and your food, the most common vectors for germs are your clothes, so keep clean. Plan things out so that you have a plastic bag in the linen hamper, and when you come home, you wash your hands, deal with washing, wiping off the new groceries, and then strip off your street clothes into the bag in the hamper, and scrub up with a good hot bath and lots of soap. Keeping clean and keeping the air moist are two really important keys to indoor health in the winter, and since the moronvirus is heat sensitive, take a hot bath. We've already discussed how to defend your nasal passages with well-diluted essential oils, 10 to 12 drops of carrier oil, like olive oil, to 1 drop of germ-fighting essential oil so that any germs you breathe in are stopped at the gate or flushed down your throat into your stomach. This same dilute mix of oils can be used on your hands to create an invisible glove that not only kills germs, but helps protect your skin. So, by all means, take care of yourselves, and your families. Stay safe and stay clean and eat well and rest, stay home as much as possible, and be wise. Think about your health, but don't be afraid and don't fall for a bunch of media hype. I am using a name for the CV that ECETI coined, Moronvirus, not because we are morons to be concerned, but because of the morons that created this bug and the entire mentality that there is any reason to create bioweapons. I quote the ECETI article entitled Moronvirus. Follow the money, know the agenda of the NWO. This will reveal everything. Know who is going to profit from this, who has the patents, who is making the vaccines. Who would want to shut down commerce and take down entire nations to throw people into abject poverty, slavery? We already know from the patents that the Pirbright Group and Kinetic, Inc. and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are the ones who fit the who is doing this and who is profiting and who has the vaccines answers to the problems they are causing. What else do we need to know? Well, we need to know that in 1973, that endless skunk, Richard Milhous Nixon, did a little favor for his buddy, Edgar Kaiser, the poobah in charge of Kaiser Permanente, and signed into law the Health Maintenance Organization Act of 1973, which allowed the government to profit itself from health and medical science research and programs and products. All of a sudden, medical insurance companies, research organizations, hospitals, clinics and even individual doctors could start functioning as for-profit business entities, instead of being held to any standard of public interest or public service. The costs of our health care and the corruption of the health care system has skyrocketed ever since, until the very institutions that are supposed to preserve health have been perverted and profit motives of the government and others have eroded the very purpose of any health care system. Nowadays, if there isn't enough business, or enough profit, they just go out and cause a pandemic, or kickstart some loathsome disease like AIDS. And then stand around like guilty schoolboys, hands in their pockets, looking sideways down at the ground. Time to wake up. Time to make medicine a non-profit occupation of common right again. Time to bust big pharma. Time to make health, not profit, the goal. And make preventive and integrative health a priority. Unless we are all brain dead, the CV will soon be a memory, along with the other pandemics declared by the World Health Organization every 2 years like clockwork for the last 2 decades. The only apparent motive is to collapse and collect the scandalous pandemic bonds, used to bet on the appearance of pandemics. We would suggest that the people betting on these grim things to the tune of billions of dollars, one way or the other, should at least stipulate that they only pay off if the pandemic is from natural causes, and not something ginned up for criminal profit. Please consider making a small donation to help support Anna and the Living Law Firm, by visiting the AmericanStatesAssembly.net, scroll to the bottom and click on the Donate Now button. Thank you.